Hey guys, welcome back to another CZ Reacts, where we watch the fun, weird, crazy, and interesting, and we question everything. Truth or conspiracy? We'll leave that up to you. You decide. As always, this video is for entertainment purposes only, so let's get into it.
Did you know they're not allowed to reveal parasites on your lab test at your doctor's office? Check out what this lab tech says.
Would you believe that I have a lab tech that worked in an all-women's hospital in the United States who went to school for 4 years for parasitology, so she does have an understanding of parasites and what she is looking for. The results that she was finding in these women coming in with UTIs, urinary tract infections, was showing parasitic larvae. She was putting them in her report, and the doctor of the lab was removing them from the reports. So these women with urinary tract infections were never getting properly diagnosed in the United States. See, they're not allowed to tell you if you have parasites. No, the CDC and HHS does not allow that. Because if you actually found out what ailed you and got cured, got the proper treatment, you wouldn't need your doctor. You wouldn't need your big pharma pills anymore.
Did you know?
Asking for reparations for colonialism, and they're wondering, $100 billion, $24 billion here and there, 500 million there. Some people want to be paid back, and members of the public are wondering, why are we suffering when you are, you have all of this vast wealth? Those are legitimate concerns.
Well, I think you're right about reparations in terms of if people want it, though, what they need to do is you always need to go back to the beginning of a supply chain. Where was the beginning of the supply chain? That was in Africa. And when across the entire world, when the slavery was taking place, which was the first nation in the world that abolished slavery? The first nation in the world to abolish it. It was started by William Wilberforce, was the British. In Great Britain, they abolished slavery. 2,000 naval men died on the high seas trying to stop slavery. Why? Because the African kings were rounding up their own people. They had them on cages waiting in the beaches. No one was running into Africa to get them. And I think you're totally right. If reparations need to be paid, we need to go right back to the beginning of that supply chain and say who was rounding up their own people and having them handcuffed in cages. Absolutely. That's where they should start. And maybe, I don't know, the descendants of those families where they died in the high seas trying to stop the slavery, that those families should receive something too, I think, at the same time.
It's an interesting discussion, Hillary. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I was not expecting her answer. I don't think he was either. He definitely caught him.
A Space Force craft, similar to a space shuttle, just mysteriously landed after a 434-day mission out there in space. And basically, nobody even knew it was happening until it landed. So the Space Force people are saying, hey, we can't tell you anything that happened in this mission, but we can tell you the name of the ship or spacecraft. It's an X-37B. Oh, that helps a lot, knowing the code name. Here's a picture of the thing after it landed at Vandenberg Air Force Base in California. And it does look a lot like a space shuttle. But what was it doing if it was up there, rotating around the Earth for over 400 days? And by the way, if this Space Force thing was up there that long, they couldn't have picked up these lost astronaut bastards. I'm sure they would have appreciated the ride home. Well, since nobody involved will tell what they were doing up there, it's just a guess, but maybe they were looking into some of these shenanigans. Then again, who knows? Maybe they were just up there avoiding their families for over a year. Could be. Okay, I just wanted to share this with you. Shabadoo Booshkies! Shabadoo!
So they were up there for over a year and nobody knew about it. I think we need to look back a year on the date they would have left and see what was going on, maybe like why they would have went up there in the first place if that was the case.
This food killed 2 of my senior dogs in my family. Do not feed this food to your dogs. If you are currently feeding your dog Freshpet, do not feed it to them.
I bought this food January 10th, 2025. On January 14th, this is our beloved dog, Bentley. A few days after that, we fed the food to Cleo, and look at her stomach, look at the condition she was in. Very sick, stomach blew up. January 28th, she passed away. After doing research, unfortunately, I found out that this food had been recalled for salmonella poisoning.
October 29th of this year, salmonella can affect dogs much like it does humans with stomach issues.
After doing more research, I found a forum on Reddit with multiple people reporting that their dogs had passed away due to this food, similar to the story just like mine. This person just posted this about a week ago. I'm so heartbroken. I had all 3 of my pets on this thinking it was a good thing. The first one died from kidney failure. She was 13, so I'd attribute it to age, but it started with seizures. 6 months later, the next one died. She would refuse to eat the food, and I just thought she was being picky. Her seizures started where she would scream, and then her body would contort, and she would pee all over herself, just like the first one. They were the same breed, so I thought it was just that. She died within 2 weeks. It's been 4 months, and now my 8-year-old dog, different breed, had her first seizure last night, just like the other 2. My daughter said it must be something we're giving them. For 3 dogs in 1 year to have the same thing, I Googled Freshpet, dog food, and seizures. All of this came up. These people deserve to be sued. I've taken her off and going to start banking her foods once a week myself. Please stop the video and read the other stories who have had similar situation where their dogs have died, have liver failure, and their dog's liver enzymes have shot up completely after eating this food.
I want everybody who love their pets to understand that you do not need to feed your dogs this food at all. It's dangerous. It killed 2 of our dogs, and we do not want this to happen to anybody else because it's heart-wrenching, it's heartbreaking to lose 2 dogs in 2 weeks. We have been feeding them the same food, one of them for 15 years, another one for 9 years, the same exact food. They were completely healthy, and now they're gone. So please, I need everybody to repost this, reshare this.
I would be absolutely devastated if that happened to my dogs. And what do you do? Because a lot of people don't even come across that information until stories have already come out. It's been blasted as recall. What is a step you could take? Google the dog food in the store before you purchase it, maybe. You might come across some information. I actually don't know, but I think that is something I'm going to do. I do not purchase that food, but just for my own dog's safety. I think each time I go in to buy my dog's food, I'm going to pull up that food and see if there are any stories on it.
I discovered that the chicken was not a natural bird. That it was a crossbreed between an African jungle fowl and a buzzard or a vulture. I was shocked. See, the buzzard eats everything and anything, and it had the most incredible tasting meat on the earth. Because it ate everything. It had every flavor built into its flesh. Because you are what you eat, so the buzzard was what it ate, everything. The African jungle fowl only ate grain, and it also ate food that was left over in the villages in Africa, but it wasn't afraid of humans. So it wasn't domesticated, but it wasn't afraid. But its meat tasted terrible. So they figured that it was very hard to catch the vulture and eat him. This was way back in the time, back in the day. But if they took a jungle fowl and a vulture and somehow got them to go out on a date, that they would come up with a brand new bird, the chicken. Well, the chicken was an albino bird that does not live in nature by itself.
Now that he said it, I'm thinking back, and have I ever heard or seen of a chicken in the wild? I know there are different species, quails and whatnot, but I mean like a chicken. It's always been chicken on farms. Do you guys know of any wild chickens? Let me know. This one had got me thinking, like, is this true? I don't know.
FDA, political leaders, where have you been? How did you miss this? That now we have an entire country that could potentially be in peril from this forever chemical that's destroyed your land, destroyed our farming, destroyed our water, and destroyed public health and welfare. Wow.
There's so much sadness and anger.
This has broken our hearts and crushed our spirit. And I don't know if we'll ever get that back.
Told their farms are shot through with chemicals linked with liver damage, damage to fertility, thyroid issues, and cancer.
All of this land has been poisoned, water contaminated, all of these people touched by this.
Called forever chemicals because they are nearly impossible to destroy. Prime soil, crops, milk tainted in the heartland, leaving many farmers on the brink of ruin.
Suicide among dairy farmers and farmers in general is incredibly high because a lot of these farms, a third, fourth, and fifth generation, you are going to be the person to lose it. Your great-great-great-grandfather cleared the land, and you are going to be the person to have a bankruptcy auction because you can't hold on to the land.
This is the story of how their farmland was destroyed right out from under them.
Greed, money.
We'll take you to ground zero of where it all began.
You never wanted to be an activist.
I just wanted to milk our cows and be left to hell alone.
And show you how far back the paper trail goes.
When they had the choice of do we go public with this or do we sweep it under the rug, they chose the rug.
And with these chemicals now impacting 97% of Americans, according to the CDC, what you and your family need to know.
I am glad News Nation is looking into this problem. All of us, the entire country, will deal with the fallout.
So we know a certain somebody who went from the computer or tech industry to farmland. Do you think if they tested his land that it would test positive for all of this?
They're not just making movies, they're showing you the future before it happens. Your attention is the price. And what isn't just entertainment, it's a weapon. Predictive programming is the subtle way they prepare the masses for what's coming. They hide the truth in plain sight, so when it happens, you're already desensitized. Think about it. 9/11, dozens of movies and TV shows predicted it years before. Pandemic, countless films like Contagion and Outbreak showed the exact scenario long before 2020. In the AI takeover, The Matrix, Terminator, Black Mirror, they've been conditioning. It's all about social engineering. If they show it to you enough times, your subconscious mind begins to accept it as reality. That's why they use celebrities, music, and movies to shape public perception and control the narrative. And here's the scary part, they don't just predict these events, they create them. Make sure you're following so you don't miss the next piece of this puzzle.
I mean, that would kind of make sense that you see it over and over and over when it happens. It's not a shock. And if that is the case, what is your guess that is coming next? Aliens or AI, or is there another one? What would be your guess to the next thing coming?
This is crazy. This is not a real egg. This is how they all have been doing. Is this an egg? Look at that.
So I go in the drain and there's a blueberry that's not breaking apart. It's not doing anything. Why is there a rubber blueberry in my toddler's snack?
Wendy's, please explain this plastic.
Freaking onion see-through, clear. Look at that. Pull it up. Look at that. What the hell? Dude, some fake-ass onion. Look at that.
I got this watermelon at Walmart, and it's, like, pinning.
So I cut watermelon for my kids, and they're all bringing it right back. And with the prices, this is like an $8 watermelon.
They're not gonna eat it. They opened up the fake chicken. This is that science lab made meat. It's like stringy. They strung it together.
FDA has cleared and given the green light for fake meat to start being produced for the United States citizens. This is something that should be important for everyone's health, and it's going to go everywhere, not just in the US.
I don't know why I didn't even think about this. Maybe last week I boiled some eggs and they did the exact same thing. And when I cut them, I was like, what is wrong with these eggs? I ended up tossing them because I was just like, these aren't good. There's something wrong with them. But they were just like that. So I don't know. You know, the first thing you're thinking is, oh, they're not good. Not that they're fake. Some of these are getting wild. Like absolutely crazy to think about that you would buy groceries and it's plastic or rubber.
There's this thing, it's called the friendship case. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
The story is so weird and bizarre, really hard to believe. In 1956, there was these Italian men apparently found this map of this castle that was close to them. They got there and these two, they said they looked like humans, but they weren't. One of them was 10 feet tall and the other one was 3 feet tall.
Stooges.
They were aliens. They went by W56. But apparently these alien people, they have these underground bases, they said. They've been here for centuries. They even have bases in the ocean. Their whole purpose of being on Earth is to save humanity from themselves, especially regarding nuclear bombs.
Yeah, fair.
But apparently there's 100 witnesses to these people. And there's photo evidence and video evidence of them showing them their flying saucers. But they said the only way that their technology works is if there is friendship and love.
What?
So like, if we're not experiencing love within humanity or friendship or compassion, they said our technology doesn't work.
That's really cute.
It's like Santa's sleigh.
But they said that there's another group of aliens that have been here since they've been here, the CTR, basically their enemies. And it says they are described as materialistic and strictly scientific, more cold and calculated. Witnesses have depicted the CTR as human-like, often bald, and seen driving dark Mercedes limousines in Italy, reminiscent of the Men in Black phenomena reported elsewhere.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, if that were the case, I don't think the technology would ever work. As much as I want to say there is so much good and so many compassionate people in the world, it feels like a constant against the evil every day that is happening. Like, what is this from? There's people walking around back there. I thought I was watching like a scene from a movie, but then that one part looked like there were people walking around, almost like these were on display at a convention or something. So are they real, these robot machines? Like, what did we just watch?
Oatmeal's on deck, and I personally like the strawberries and cream the most. And then I started paying attention to the ingredients, and if you notice right here, you'll see natural flavor. When I learned what this is made out of in this, it blew my mind. Just check this out. Hold on one second.
And castoreum, typically called natural flavor, is taken from a beaver's anal gland. It's far cheaper to use castoreum, or beaver's butt, to flavor strawberry oatmeal than using actual strawberries. They don't want you to know what's in that natural flavor either. Just try to call the company and ask. They'll tell you it's proprietary. But there's nothing natural about the flavors they produce. So avoid products with natural flavors.
That's crazy, right? So, listen, and the thing about the natural flavor too, man, there's been billions of dollars spent on natural flavors. It actually entices us to want to keep eating more. It's a chemical process they use to make natural flavor. So when I learned, it actually leads to weight gain. So when I learned that, I just switched it out, man. I go to the old-fashioned regular Quaker Oats, man, and I chop up some strawberries, some honey, or some maple syrup to make it better.
I don't want a person's butt in my mouth. What makes you think I'd want a beaver butt in my mouth? Like, why? How is that okay? How is there not more information on that? Natural flavor. What else are we, like, so unaware of that we're just eating every day? That is so sick. That video was for Shannon, who requested some information or updates on the Santorini earthquake situation. That was the only video I could find as of 2 days ago with some information. So it looks good that everything is going to return to normal. I hope it goes smoothly after that. That was a scary situation for them. That island was like isolated and deserted for a little while. Okay, I don't know if the sound went with that video. Maybe it did, but how terrifying that you are like in this little area and a mountain lion is down there with you. I don't even know what I would do. Oh my gosh, talk about close calls.
I'm very, very pleased to announce that the first baby clone is born. She was born yesterday at 11:55 a.m. in the country where she was born. So this will not give you more details about the location. She's fine. We call her Eve.
I think cloning humans is inherently a bad idea for sort of, if I may, evolutionary biological reasons. And that is that if you clone yourself, if this were successful, this kid, this baby, would not be the combination of two people's genes. And so this kid would be inherently falling one genetic step behind, if you will, everybody else in kindergarten. Everybody else would be a result of a mixture of genes. A clone would be the result of a single set of genes.
Glenn McGee is director of the Center for Bioethics at the University of Pennsylvania and the author of the Human Cloning Debate and Generation Genome. Dr. McGee was with the FDA 2 years ago when it shut down a Clonaid lab in West Virginia. He joins us now from Philadelphia. Doctor, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
First of all, why did you shut that lab down in West Virginia?
Well, I wasn't responsible for the decision, but the real issue is one that has plagued not only Brigitte Bosselier, but Clonaid since the beginning of this effort, and that was false promises. $200,000 were taken from a city councilman in West Virginia to bring back his dead son, and Clonaid had set up a lab with Brigitte Bosselier at its head above a daycare center in West Virginia. And when the FDA investigated, what we found was a lab that was roughly at the high school level. And indeed, that issue is with us again today. If it's possible that Brigitte Bosselier and unknown scientists, unknown obstetricians and others in an unknown country were able to successfully give birth to Eve without the kind of hundreds and hundreds of mistakes that we saw, mistakes and medical problems that we saw with the birth of Dolly and other cloned animals, then I think that suggests that we may be entering a new world in which just about anyone can make a clone, although I myself very much doubt that she has succeeded in this effort.
Today, we will reveal the whole truth that they have been hiding from us for years. Comment book if you would like to find out this confidential information. That day, everything will change.
That was from 2003. Do you think they're cloning people for real? From the looks of that bus, like that is the intention, you know, with the open cage at the back to get the tigers to stretch out towards the top so you can see them better, I guess. I personally could not ever do that. I just don't trust the construction of man sometimes. And look how big those tigers are. I just feel like somewhere, sometime there's going to be a fault, and I don't want to be one of the people who are there when that happens.
Well, I take vitamin C and lemon balm and whiskey.
Well, I start the day with a good hot breakfast. Porridge, eggs and bacon, and a drop of whiskey and tea.
You can defy the virus then,
Ah,
eh?
very good.
What about you, madam?
I believe in a good breakfast, but I also believe if you have got the flu, rinse your inside out with continually with boiled water, about 4 or 5 half-pint glasses a day. Boiled water.
Well, my remedy for flu is to get a small Spanish onion, chop it up finely, and put some brown sugar over it and a little vinegar. And then when it's into a syrup, take a spoonful before you go to bed. It's a very good remedy.
Well, I'm a great believer in whiskey. I'm like the Scotchman. I believe in a drop of whiskey warm, and it sort of kills the germs.
I think good onions is an apple side there.
What's your recipe?
A jolly good hot rum punch and a jolly good sweat and stuff in bed till it's all over. Right.
Well, my mother recommends an old sweaty sock with salt round your throat, good pullover, and a good hot water bottle, and sweat it out. And then if you feel that you're not going to spread germs around, then get up.
Well, I think it's quite a simple ailment to deal with. I take a jolly good dose of salts and let nature do the rest.
Well, the best way that we find, and the only way, is the use of elderflower wine. If you take a good glassful tonight and you go to bed and you sweat it out, you know, and you're all right.
Good old-fashioned natural remedies, I guess. Are there any that you guys use, or have been in your family that work that you guys use, or that you swear by? If there is, let me know. Leave it in the comments.
When you hear the word microchip, you probably think of computers or maybe smartphones.
Yeah, the last thing you might think of is contraceptives. Believe it or not, CBS 2's Dr. Max Gomez says doctors are testing a wireless microchip contraceptive.
This microchip may be the future of contraception. Implanted under the skin, it can deliver tiny amounts of hormone like a birth control pill.
This kind of technology could have a major effect and revolutionize various aspects of medicine, including birth control.
MIT professor Dr. Bob Langer and biotech firm Microchips first tested the technology in 2012 in osteoporosis patients. It was a success. That's when the Gates Foundation asked if the chip could be used to prevent pregnancy. The chip can hold enough hormone to prevent pregnancy for up to 16 years. When a woman wants to conceive, she or her doctor can just turn off the device with a remote.
Yeah, right.
Researchers are now working on the remote to make sure it can't be hacked.
The remote control must be put up against the skin in order to establish communication. And the reason we do that is we want to have close-range communication to prevent anyone from listening in on the encrypted signal.
Some experts point out that women already have implantable birth control options like the IUD, but many still choose the pill.
If women in the U.S. are not using the long-acting methods now, why are they going to be more likely to use this one?
But Bob Ferrara says unlike the IUD, the chip doesn't need to be removed every time a woman is ready to have a child. The medication in the chip is the same as that in other long-acting contraceptives, and it's been around and tested and used for decades. And while it may not be a huge seller in this country, the Gates Foundation believes it could revolutionize family planning in third world countries. Dr. Max Gomez, CBS 2 News.
Researchers plan to test this technology in women in 2016. The device would initially cost around $1,000, but that cost could go down with mass production. We'll keep you updated.
That gave me real Silo vibes, the show. And coming from the Gates Foundation, I would never trust a device that somebody else had control over. I don't think it would ever be turned off because he's openly talked about the planet being overpopulated. That would be a hard pass for me. Oh, those things are so dangerous. And feisty. Oh, shit! Ooh! Okay, he knew how serious that was. Like, that thing's out. Yeah, he knows how dangerous they are. That's crazy. I didn't even think about them jumping like that. Wow. All right, you guys, that is going to be it for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. Please let me know what you thought in the comments, or if there is something that you would like to see, maybe I can find that for you. Until next time, question everything and stay safe.